Hey, what's going on, guys? Just wanted to come to you guys with a quick video. So you lost your job. Now what? What should you do as a man if you've lost your job? Just wanted to kind of take some time and break this down for you guys in this video. Alright, if you're new to this channel, Renaissance Life TV is a channel for men who want to take their lives to the next level. Each week we put out videos on personal growth, success, and a different perspective on navigating life and relationships. So let me get right into it, guys. Let me jump into this. Obviously with like coronavirus and just in general, people lose jobs, right? I've been in this situation myself where one moment I had a job and the next moment I did not have a job, right? So it's a sucky situation to be in. Let's just put it out there right there. Nobody likes to lose a job. Even if you really didn't like a job, it sucks to lose that job, right? Because if you're in that job, you probably need that job. Because if you didn't need that job, you probably wouldn't be in that job. Or maybe you really just don't care. I don't know. But if you lose your job, what do you do? And so I kind of want to just talk through it, give you my thoughts on what you do, how to deal with it, how I dealt with it in the past, and how to, a big thing is how to come back stronger. How do you become a better employee? That's something to think about. How do you come back and not have the trauma of having lost a job, right? How do you come back and be in a better position than you were before? One of the first things I think that you should do if you've lost your job is to take some mental time, right? So take some time to try to build and restore your mental health in that moment, because it does, as much as we maybe say that we don't care or it's not a big deal, it does take a mental hit, right? Any major life event has an impact. So you don't want to underestimate the impact of having lost a job, right? And what that can do to your psyche, to your relationships, to your emotions and things like that. So, one of the things, when I had lost my job, I took a week and I went on vacation. And that's probably the most counterintuitive thing that you would do. But it was a time and an opportunity to de-stress and almost escape, right? And so I said I would go take a week vacation and then come back and go at it hard and give my 100% in order to come back stronger. And so that's what I did. Took a week, took my wife, took my kids, and we went on vacation for a week. Now, maybe that's the last thing you want to do when you've lost a job. Maybe that's what you're thinking, but it can be a really effective way. Find something that you can do to take your mind off of it, right? So you want to hopefully not be in a place where you're spending a ton of time moping and sort of being paralyzed where you can't take any steps forward. So mourn the job if you need to, mourn the loss, and then take some time for mental health to build yourself and to sort of get yourself back on your 2 feet. And then go hit it hard on the tail end. One big thing that I would say that's super important when you lost a job is to take some time for introspection. Reflect on the job itself. What can you learn from the situation? What can you learn about why you lost a job? Were you fired? Were you laid off? Was it your health? Was it your sickness? Was it a situation? Was it depression that you were dealing with? What was the reason for your job loss? And be honest with yourself. Did you have any culpability whatsoever? If you did, that's okay. That's not a reason to be like, woe is me, I lost my job. Nah, I should never get a job again. That just means you know exactly what you need to improve on at your next job. So if your issue was being late, for instance, then you know what? When I get my next job, I'm gonna make sure to be on time. That's something that you know that you can work on specifically for any future job that you get. Okay, so take time to reflect on what went wrong, what went right, what can you take forward, what do you need to leave behind. The next thing is, once you've done that and you figure that out, you want to jump back on the horse, right, and start applying again. But this is also an opportunity, a unique opportunity to work on your resume, to tweak your skills, those sort of things that you didn't really have time to do before, or you really just hadn't had to think about while you had a job. You can take the time to actually do that, and you'd be surprised that if you really take it seriously, you can almost reinvent yourself. And it's a really unique opportunity and time to really think carefully about whether you're in the right industry, whether you wanted to try something else, whether you wanted to do something else, whatever the case might be. This could really be the opportunity for you to spearhead and jumpstart a new career or a new endeavor that you're going to be really excited about, that will make a huge difference in your life, maybe the life of your family if you have a family. So, don't think of it only in the negative, but also think about what the positives are behind having lost the job that you were in, especially if it was a job you weren't happy in, and the opportunity to go into a new situation. So we talked about how to become a stronger employee when you come back. Now, part of losing a job, if you have a family like I did when I had lost my job, you may have people who are relying on your paycheck, right? You may have a wife, you may have children and all those things. How do you deal with that? And what I would say here, man, is it's tough. There's no two ways about it. Like, you can't, there's no getting around it, right? It's a really tough situation. And so what I would say in that case is, if you have a support system or family or friends or something like that, like, don't be too proud to lean on your friends or your family or something. Like, think about those people that you can truly trust with the situation to get help in that time, so that way you can stay on your feet until you can get another job. On that note, I think another thing is, like, don't be too proud, right? So there's the pride between you and asking for help, but a lot of times I think as men we kind of have this pride about, like, what job would I take? And so one of the things my dad told me when I was gonna get married was, like, listen, you're about to have the life of someone else also on your hands, right? Like, you not only have to support yourself, but you also need to support your spouse or your partner. And so, I had graduated law school and I was going to be an attorney at some point, right? And he was saying, like, don't think that you have to wear a shirt and tie in order to make a living. And so what he was telling me in that moment was, like, don't be so proud that if you ultimately reached a place where you couldn't work in what you had gone to school for, that you just, like, lay on the floor somewhere and don't do anything. Like, do what you got to do. As a man, if you say you're a man, right, and you're big and bad and you can do anything, that means you can do anything. So, I kind of had the mindset, like, if that means I have to do whatever it takes, I have to do whatever it takes. If ultimately the only job I could do was XYZ, right? If I had to work at Walmart or something, or have 3 jobs, that were like little jobs to make up what I needed to make, that's what it was going to take. That's what I would have to be willing to do. So that's super important, right? Like, it's one of those times it can really be an ego check. But, don't be too proud to, take the job and apply in maybe places you wouldn't have applied for before, or to open up your kind of pool. So maybe you were only applying in one city. Maybe now you apply in more cities or things like that. You consider, being willing to move, or, those different things that can give you opportunities outside of where you were originally. So that can really help. The other thing about dealing with the pressure is, if you have, like, people who are relying on your paycheck, like a wife, hopefully you have a positive relationship with your spouse, because it can be a super trying time. But be careful to lean on your spouse and not to make your partner the enemy at that time. I think as men, a lot of times, not only do we bottle up our emotions, but if we experience something that heavy, that big of a hit, oftentimes the result can be that we start to take that out on our partner and our spouse. So I think you got to be really careful about like, like not taking out your frustration, your depression on your spouse, because these situations end up turning around. But if the memory after the situation turns around is you like downing your spouse or being like really nasty to her, then that's gonna like linger and stay with you guys through your relationship now that you guys are doing well. So you don't want that to be the the end result of the time during the struggle. You want to grow closer during those times, so that way when you get out of those times and you're in a better situation, you remember the times that you were in before and how you guys made it through together. So I'm gonna keep this video as short as possible. I could definitely say a lot more, but if you've lost your job, remember that it's not the end. There's always hope. There's always another job out there. And then just take an opportunity sometimes to reinvent yourself, and to come back stronger as an employee, maybe in a different area, maybe doing your own thing, maybe not being employed by someone again, and really try to learn from the situation if you can. And if not, just chuck it to experience and then move on to the next one as soon as you can. All right, guys, so let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, if you've lost your job, what do you do? What would you recommend that you do? If you've been in this situation, like, what was it like for you? Were you in a funk for a really long time, or was it a job maybe that you didn't want to be in to begin with, so you were happy about it, but maybe it still sucked? Or whatever the case might be, just let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And as usual, I'm wishing you health and happiness. Cheers, guys.